our next speaker. Okay, so let me start with our next speaker. We go straight to where we are, sorry. Okay, our next speaker will be Professor Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay from India. He is an innovative and highly networked teacher, international speaker, and a widely published writer. And he will be sharing with us on corporate branding. If you can remember last week when we were talking about personal branding, I did mention that we are going to have another speaker that will be sharing with us. He has started very well with us last month, and now we are going to invite him again to continue the journey of branding. So for corporate branding, please invite your friends, your co-workers, your business partners, and your collaborators as they start with us today, on today, the 4th of March, and also round up on this corporate branding tomorrow. So, who is our third speaker? Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay is an MSc, MBA, PhD from IIT ISM Dhambad. Adopt at innovative teaching practices. He is highly networked with the industry. He is not only teaching, also practices, and his students to adore him for the same. He has contributed in more than 30 international journals and have published more than 23 papers in seminars and conferences. Besides, he has authored 3 books on computation in estate management, transport management, values and ethics for engineers and managers. He is associated as life member with ISTD, CMA, PRSI, NIPM, NHRD, NFED, ISABS, and does mentoring and consulting for various organizations. Professor Dr. Subrata has been awarded and recognized as the Outstanding Higher Education Leader of the Year by SOE Global Education Awards in 2014, and recognized by NFED for his contribution to mentoring startups, teachers, teaching, and research for 2 consecutive years. He was conferred the prestige MTC Global Top Thinkers Award in September and Mentor of the Year by HRD India in June 2019. He's on editorial board of 5 international journals and NENDST Government of India recognized faculty on entrepreneurship and a mentor to startups. He is a mentor of change in the utter innovation mission of Government of India and has been conferred the prestige Satisfied Management Teacher by MTC Global for his innovative and dedicated teaching and mentoring in 2015. Also, Professor, he has successfully chaired and invited as a keynote speaker in several national and international conferences in South Asia. And we are blessed in YYCI as he is also among our advisory board member and ambassador of Yes You Can International. So, permit me to invite Professor Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay to share with us his own topic. of today. You're welcome, sir.
Respected mother, the founder of YYCI International, Professor Elizabeth Lucas, madam, and respected ambassadors who are here with me. It is a great pleasure to share with you my learnings about corporate branding. So, what is corporate branding? What are the objectives of corporate branding? And what are the advantages of corporate branding? I'll take you on through a journey about corporate branding, professional branding, and then we have personal branding. And throughout this month, there will be other sessions as well on the magic of marketing as well as business plan. So I'm really thankful to YYCI and Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth, madam, my revered mother, for inviting me to share my little knowledge about corporate branding. So what is corporate branding? Corporate branding is actually a vital marketing concept which helps companies to secure a strong position in the market. Now, we all know that Apple, with its staggering $242 billion in revenue, Google and its $207 billion a year, and other famous names that you've heard once or twice in your life are vivid representatives of firmly established and well-nurtured corporate brands. And these companies have reached for the stars and become commercial hits and is synonymous of the niches and the categories in the market. Now, how have they done that? What is the reason behind their success? They all have one thing in common. All of them have made the most of corporate branding and marketing. So, as I said, corporate branding is a powerful marketing instrument, and it does wonders for business, whether it's a startup, a local firm, or Jingi Software as a professional SaaS company, conquering digital expenses for several years. And the best part is it is not rocket science, nor is it luxurious venture. It's affordable to everyone. And corporate branding actually can repeat to those success stories with the professional corporate branding company at hand. Now, corporate branding, the nailing of corporate branding may be a bit tricky. And everything starts with acquiring the basic knowledge in the field to understand what corporate branding services you need to avoid wasting your precious time, your effort, your resources, and money. Now, let us find out that what are the things that go into corporate branding. So, as I said, the corporate branding is an effective way to brand the corporate in the market, very simply speaking. The brand is a marketing concept whose goal is to encompass the company's value and mission and distinguish it from the market. With that in mind, let us move into the objectives of corporate branding. So the first thing that goes into the objectives of corporate branding is you need to make your company stand out from the crowd. Now, when I say this is about differentiation. Why should people remember you or your company when it comes to purchase of any particular product, goods, or services? So it talks about top of the mind recall. So making your company standing out from the crowd. There are many companies. Why should it be your company that would make the cut? Are you the one who is reckoned and reconciled when people do think about a corporate brand? Or people remember about your competitors and not you? What is it in you that people will actually remember, acknowledge, and engage, and refer and recommend you? The next is about publicity. The assist in the publicity, advertisement, sales, and other promotional activities. So when you are doing corporate branding, it actually helps in your publicity, your advertisement, your sales, and different promotional activities. And very importantly, it actually reinforces your position in the market. It also helps you to maintain a quality of product and customer service. Increase the prestige in your company, the prestige of your company. The next is it helps build a reputation, brand loyalty, market leadership, as well as you can operate. If you have a good corporate branding, you can think about expansion. So you can operate legally in different countries and also protect the company legally. So whatever I said so far is about how organizations can do corporate branding, professional branding, and actually enhance their reputation, their place in the market, and also allow people to remember, reconcile about their brands. Now, having said that, let us now move to the different types of corporate branding. So the definition of corporate branding does not involve the types of corporate branding, but it is essential to understand about the concept of corporate branding and the types of corporate branding and how a corporate branding strategy may adopt for short-term and long-term goals. So the most popular types of corporate branding that are worthy of exploring and trying the endeavors to grow the market share are, first of all, personal branding. Now, when we talk about personal branding, and respected mother knows that I've taken several sessions on personal branding. So, what is personal branding? It refers to the branding of a person or an entrepreneur Okay. Next is product branding. So what is product branding? It is actually promoting a single product that you have. What are you known for? Your products in the market. That's product branding. And then we have geographical branding. What is geographical branding? It is actually promoting a company based on a set of unique traits of a specific region. So what you are actually doing is you are branding your companies in the geographies wherein you have your presence. The next is about cultural branding. So as we all know that in the world, in 200 plus countries that is there in the world, right, we have different cultures. So it is essential for any organization to understand that the cultures are different across different countries, across different regions, across different geographies. So we must understand, value the differences in culture, in beliefs, in attitudes, in perceptions that do exist. So race, caste, creed, religions, values, beliefs, we must respect that. And we should take into consideration of the different geographies. I would really love to give one or two examples of companies that did not understand the cultural branding and actually did suffer because of that. So my first example would be about US companies which went for a product pitching in Japan. So as you all know, that US people are very aggressive in nature. They are straightforward. They are very brash, right? And they speak something straight at the face. Very adamant in nature. Now there was an US delegation which actually went to Japan. Now this US delegation which went to Japan, they actually had to do a presentation at Japan. Now when they went to Japan, they actually presented their products and services, and they had to actually make a pitch that to the Japanese customers for expanding their business in Japan. Now, when they actually made a pitch for their products and services in Japan, right, they explained everything about the product features, then about the product range, and also explained to the Japanese that, well, why would you need the product, and also that they are coming up with a collaboration. They would actually give it to Japan based on the collaboration. They would give it at the best possible price. Now after they presented to the Japanese, you know what happened? They gave their best. Yet after the presentation, they found that the Japanese did not respond. So they thought that what the hell went into our presentation? Why did the Japanese did not accept our products? So they thought, well, it may be so that they are not accepting the product at the price that we are offering. So they thought, well, let's do something. Let's reduce the price. Now they reduced the price and told that, well, we have this world-class product for you. Now you are not accepting, we understand. Possibly you are not agreeing with the price that we are offering. So this is the price that we are offering. Are you ready to accept it? So when they said, the Japanese still was silent, was mum, and they thought, oh my God, what's happening? We are offering the lowest of the prices, yet the Japanese are not actually agreeing. Now again, they sat for a meeting amongst themselves and they thought, okay, let's do something. Let's reduce the price and finally, let's come to the lowest price that we can offer. So they all decided that, well, this is the final price. If you are agreeing, it's fine. If not agreeing, we are moving on. So they offered the final price. And even after offering the final price, the Japanese did not actually move. So then they thought, well, all is done. Let us do something. Let us move away. These Japanese people are not understanding our business. We have gone to the wrong country to do our business. Now, as they were about to leave, just about to board their car, the Japanese contingent, they came to them and said, hello, we are here. We understand that your product is good for us. Now, we were ready to accept the products at the price that you wanted to give us. Now, having said that, since you have actually reduced the price, so it is all the more good for us. So what I wanted to say in this example is that companies need to understand geographical branding. Now, there are lots of examples of companies which actually faltered, with understanding of the geographies. Let me take another example, if I'm permitted, right? So, Kellogg's, when they launched in India, Kellogg's, when they launched in India, they actually had a lot of problem. I hope I'm audible, right? Kellogg's had a lot of problem. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Continue.
So Kellogg's had a lot of problem in actually placing themselves in India. Now, when they launched in India, the research was done by AC Nielsen, and they found that actually there is a lot of opportunity in the Indian markets. Now, when they launched their products in India, initially the sales of the product was high and they were doing good. Now, when they actually launched in the market in India, for the first few months, they had good sales of products. And after that, the sales actually dipped. Now, this is a very, very important case study which is there in the internet, and I would request all of you to see that how companies actually do falter because of poor market research and not understanding the customers' needs, wants, desires, and demands. So actually what happened It was actually not understanding the choice, tastes, and preferences of the customers. It is a very simple, study which should be done by most companies, which is that what Kellogg's faltered in is that they did not understand the habits of Indian customers. Now, what is it? Now, as revered mother and all of you would agree that in the Western countries, people drink when they drink milk, right? They take milk cold. Now, with the Indian customers, it was different. So Indians and people in South Asia, we drink milk hot. And when it comes to drinking milk hot, right? Kellogg's had a problem. And what was the problem? The problem was that the milk that was dipped in cornflakes that actually lost its crispiness. So it was soggy in nature. And because it was soggy in nature and lost its crispiness, so people did not like the taste. And since people did not like the taste, so it actually went soft. So people did not want to have those conflicts. Now, it is very important to customize your products in the different countries that you operate in, because every company is different, every country is different, every culture is different. So you have to respect the differences that exist in the caste, creed, religions, beliefs, ethics, values, principles that are there across different countries. So if you think that your products are successful in a particular country, you will not be able to actually make your dent in a different country. So you need to study that what are the factors that actually make you or your presence in different countries that you operate in. That's a very important case study about what Kellogg's had in the different countries that they operated in. So there are numerous such examples that I can give of companies which actually faltered when they had their stint in the different countries, when they wanted to launch their products in the different countries. PepsiCo at one point of time had come out with a slogan, "Come alive with Pepsi," if you remember. Come alive with Pepsi. Now, when that was translated into Chinese, you know what it meant? It meant Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead. I repeat, Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead. Now, imagine if you are having a particular brand which says that it brings your ancestors back from the dead. Would you actually like to have the brand? Would you actually endorse the product? So it was about Pepsi not understanding the views of the different customers that existed across the world, and they did not understand the language and the culture of the people across the different regions and the territories. So when you are actually establishing your corporate brand, you should understand that what is your brand identity, what are your products, what are your services, to whom are you actually addressing, are your products acceptable to all? So you need to do a lot of study as regards your products. So you should actually reinforce your position in the market. You should maintain a quality of product and customer service. You should increase your prestige of the company. And through corporate branding, you should build a reputation, increase the brand loyalty, establish market leadership, and operate legally in the different countries, protect the company legally, and all these things should be there. So we are talking about the different types of corporate branding. So we discussed about personal branding, product branding, geographical branding, and also we understood some of the examples of cultural branding. Now, say for example, the country that I come from, India, right? It's a vast country, and there are different cultures in the different regions that exist. So if you see the cultural traits in the North India, it's different from entirely from South India. The West is different from the East. The middle, the central part of India is different from the rest of India. So if you are establishing your corporate brand and promoting your company, you should understand the unique traits of specific cultures that are there. Very important. The next is service branding. So it refers to the actions that improve the user experience and customer services to resonate with the market the best. Now, a very important concept in branding, which is come up of late, is co-creation. And what is co-creation? Co-creation is actually that brands should actually take in the customers into account towards creating their brands. So companies should actually take the customers into account while creating their brands. That's co-creation. So the end users, in the form of customers, their views are very important towards creating the brands. The next is internet branding. So as we know that companies are increasingly going online and e-commerce is on the rise. So positioning of the company in the digital expanses is about internet branding. I'll discuss all these in my next session also. Then you have offline branding. So internet branding is online branding. Offline branding is about positioning the company in the real world. Then you have co-branding. What is co-branding? It is about the partnerships with other companies to maximize the corresponding positions in the market. So you will see Pepsi and Coke and Google, Amazon. So the top brands in the world, Microsoft, right? They go for co-branding, which is that you partner with the other companies to maximize your corresponding positions in the market. Okay. So what are the advantages of corporate branding? So although corporate branding does not come in all size fits all shape, however, whatever types you intend to adopt, it will do these things for your businesses to thrive. Number one, it creates a first impression that counts. And as is said, the first impression is the last impression. So it produces a long-lasting impression. Corporate branding actually represents the business, avoiding confusion and disappointment. It shows the role the company plays in the community. What is your product known for? Why should people buy? Corporate branding is all about understanding that why do we buy? What do we buy? When do we buy? Where do we buy? How do we buy? So understanding the 5 W's and 1 H. Okay. So that's very important. So you need to understand that why should people buy your company's products and services and not others. It sets the product and the company apart from the other players in the very important in the perspective of companies, products and services. Okay, very, very important. I hope I'm audible. Am I? Hello?
You are.
Okay, great. So, as I was saying, corporate branding also helps to stay consistent regardless of the fluctuations in the market. And it brings value to the customers. It increases the credibility and the trustworthiness of the company, making it look professional. It helps to influence the decision-making process, reinforces the nurturing and retention campaigns. When you go for in-depth corporate branding and you make a dent in the minds of the customers, it actually increases the number of referrals. It starts the word of mouth. It helps to attract the ideal clients, which leads to higher conversion rates, less investment into promotion. It improves the customer experience, attracts the right employees, letting the companies extend the pool of professionals who help find new ways and solutions for improvement and enhancement. Now, when you are a formidable corporate brand, it actually increases the staff retention. People do value their stay in the organization. It reduces the recruitment costs. It escalates the satisfaction and understanding of the organizational purpose and leads to high productivity. It enhances the positive commentary that is there in the media and the community, and it boosts conversions and revenue. And all these benefits of corporate branding and revenue actually stresses the importance of corporate branding as a marketing concept. So it's very important to brand your company, to lend a proper presence of your company, and very, very important is how do you make a top of the mind recall and awareness, TOMA as it's called, top of the mind awareness. Okay, so is your brand reconciled by the customers as the top of the mind? That's very important. So these are the things that I wanted to say in my first session of corporate branding about the objectives of corporate branding and the advantages of corporate branding. And I'll take you on through the different nuances of corporate branding in my next session tomorrow, right? Wherein we'll discuss about different examples of corporate branding and how brands have actually transformed lives and made a dent in the customers' minds, and also about brands that have failed, right? Which actually could not sustain its presence. So there are different companies which actually was thought that it will be a huge success, but finally they did not actually do an in-depth study of the customer's choices, wants, desires, needs, aspirations, and that's why they have failed. So it's a very, very interesting study to go into corporate branding and study that how brands do create an impact in the minds of the customers. Thank you so much.
Subrata, you've really enlightened us greatly this afternoon or this morning on corporate branding. I really learned a lot. There's so many things you've shared with us today that are really new to me personally. I also want to say thank you for the illustrations, the stories, the examples that you have shared. It's very important. It also makes us to have a better understanding of what corporate branding is all about. And I want to say thank you so much, sir, for using this time to elaborate it for us. Before Professor Subrata move on, is there any questions in the house? Any questions? Yes, from Facebook, I've been hearing, I've been seeing some responses. They say it's very great presentation today, especially from the first speaker to this now. We really they appreciate you. Great lessons. Thank you so much for everyone. Interesting and relevant topics. That's good. Now we just want to ask one or two questions before we release our Professor Dr. Subrata. Any questions today, please? Okay. Any question? Yes, Ambassador Maiden, you have a question. Please answer. Let's have your question, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Subrata, for this wonderful topic on corporate branding. It's quite an insightful one, especially for me to be able to understand that for a company to secure a strong position in the market, it has to be ahead of its competitors. And we cited an example with Apple being the leading technology company in the country, in the world today. And you went further to discuss so many things regarding types of corporate branding and the most popular or common types of corporate branding, personal branding, and also how an individual could get to start marketing his own brand. But then below you talked about the 5 W's, which is where, why, and when, which I am so much interested in that particular 5W, where you could possibly take us through example, because as you are going to sell the product, you will first of all have to consider when to start it, where and why should it be that particular brand, and what should that brand be. I believe this will go a very long way to give us give me a better insight on how to be able to wrap up today's topic. And I am seriously much interested. I don't want to miss anything at all. Like I said, I didn't get the 5 W's completely, and if you can take that, I would really appreciate. Thank you very much, Dr. Subrata.
Yeah, Can I answer to your question?
Yes, if you can take us through the 5W again, where
Yeah,
you
so the
spoke
five
about where
W's
to buy,
of,
why,
of
and
marketing
when.
and corporate branding is about understanding what do customers buy, when do customers buy, where do customers buy, which products do customers
Okay.
buy, and from whom the customers buy. That is
Okay.
about 5 W's. And 1H is how do customers buy.
Okay.
Okay. I hope that is
Yes.
clear.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I've
Get
gotten
that. Okay,
that.
that's good.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you
Subrata.
so much. Thank you. Any other question? Thank you so much for answering, for your question. Any other question? Do you have any question? Professor Mercy, do you have a question, ma'am? Ambassador Bola
I think
Tito, any question?
Madam was wanting to
Okay,
ask a
Dr.
question.
Samina, you have a question? Dr. Samina from Pakistan, do you have a question?
Yeah. The price was high, so the Japanese don't accept it. And 3 times, at last, when the last time they down the price, they accepted. They accepted it. The last time,
Yes.
are they accepted it? Japanese, last time they accepted it or not? But the company, I
Yes,
think,
they did
on the call.
accept. So it is basically a great case study into understanding the culture of
Ji.
different countries. The Japanese
Yeah.
take a lot of time to respond. They
Okay.
don't take decisions straight away,
Yeah.
unlike the US people. The US people, straight away, they are very, straightforward, and they take the decisions. They're very brash, they're very aggressive, and they take decisions instantly. Now, Japanese take a lot of time to actually make it a final call. So, the US people did not actually study the Japanese cultural fit and their ways to respond. So they should have actually given them a lot of time to think,
They
to
were
respond.
bargaining. They want to
Absolutely,
bargain.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So
And the
hence
need
they
and
actually lost on business.
yeah.
They actually lost on business. So the Japanese were not interested in the price cut. They were interested whether their product would be a good fitment in their markets.
Yeah.
Okay. But the US thought that possibly it is the price that is actually hindering the customers. So they actually went on to reduce the price. So it was a wrong strategy, considering that they did not do their homework. They did not actually study the choice, tastes, and preferences of the customers and their culture, values, and beliefs, attitudes of the customers in Japan. So it's very important that when you launch your product in the different countries, right? Each country is different, each culture is different. So you have to respect the cultural traits, attitudes, values, behavioral traits of the customers that are there in the different countries. You cannot take everything the same that you are in your country.
Absolutely
Yeah.
And
right.
needs and desires and sentiments. We should know the need, desire, sentiment.
Yes.
We should know
Yes.
and
Very
needs,
important.
desires, and sentiments of customers.
Absolutely
Right.
correct. Thank you so much,
Absolutely. Yeah.
Dr. Samina. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Professor Subrata, for answering that question. It's very, very important. that we have a better question. So that means that it's not about you having a product or services to people. It's about also studying the culture of where you want to launch your business, you want to launch your product or services. Very important. Because if you don't do that, it's like waste of time. I mean, like Dr. Subrata said, they've wasted, sometimes before they could be accepted or responded to them. And because one particular person from Japanese answered the question, doesn't mean answer them or respond to them, doesn't mean that the whole country accepted. So that is the more reason why you have to do thorough studying, marketing, researching about the culture and the behavior and the needs and the expectation of any country you want to launch your business in. So that is clearer, and thank you so much for answering that question. Any other question? Ambassador Bolatito, do you have a question? No. Okay, so we've got a better understanding of the corporate branding, and please join us tomorrow as Professor Subrata will be completing this section. We have part 1 today, and tomorrow is part 2, and I'm sure it's going to really, really teach us in depth more about corporate branding. So I want to say thank you for the questions you've answered, Professor Subrata, and thank you for Dr. Samina and Ambassador Maiden for asking those questions. It's very, very important. It makes everything more lively and interesting as well. So
Very wonderful.
Very wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, that we still have another speaker, but I will tell you more about